I'm going to introduce our speakers now. The subject of this workshop is improving my home group, or my group. And with no further ado, I just met Jessica a few minutes ago. She's from South Georgia area, Valdosta. And this is Jessica.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm a recovering addict.
Hi, Jessica.
It's funny when you get asked to do a topic and then it's time for it. Like everything you feel like you know about it just goes out the window, and you're like, "Oh, do I really know anything about improving my home group?" I love my home group. I'm from Valdosta. My home group is the We Do Recover group. I moved to this home group when I had about a year clean. I started my recovery about 45 minutes north of Valdosta in Tipton, and the first time I had gone to an NA meeting, I was in a treatment center, and I remember feeling just welcomed the minute I walked in the door, and I remember not knowing anything about staying clean and just how much the people in the group seemed to know. And so leaving treatment, it was like I had this idea of exactly what a home group should be. And it should have been exactly like the one I visited while we were in treatment. And so when I went back to my hometown, the meeting was not like the one that I had, been introduced to. And there was not a whole lot of clean time in the group. I want to say the most clean time was probably like a year clean at that point. And I went back and I had like 60 days and thought I knew everything, I think. And, but I did know that something wasn't right. I knew that they would, or at that point it was a we wouldn't read all of the traditions. And, I remember that there were several things, there would be specific gods mentioned in the meetings. And just the little bit of knowledge I had gained from just listening to the first meeting, or to the first group I had attended, was, almost like the most welcoming part, where I didn't have to hear about other gods, because at that point, I had a relationship with God when I got here. But, obviously some of ours are different. And so I like the fact that we didn't come in here and name specific gods. And so when I went back to my hometown and back to my home group there were just some things that I just felt weren't right. And at that point, we had just joined the area. And I'll kind of backtrack a little bit. The group was, they had been a part of an area, and then kind of everybody moved or left the group, and it wasn't really there anymore, and so it kind of got drifted away. And there were a few people who still kind of came and kept things up, but it wasn't really, it wasn't a part of. And so we had just joined back to the area, and then I kind of learned more. After I had 6 months clean, I started serving as a GSR for that group. And I would still and it would kind of give me more things that I would see that just weren't right. So I remember going to the area and, asking for help, and them sending an ad hoc committee to come down. And they came in, and, they came to group conscience, and I was a part of the ad hoc committee. And at that point, the group was like, we're happy with how we do things. We're happy with mentioning our gods in the meetings. We're happy with what we do with our seventh tradition money, and we don't want to change. And I also had some things kind of going on in my personal life to where it was time for me to make a change. And I moved and got a new home group. Now, with that being said, I always hear about people leaving groups when things kind of aren't going their way, and so for me today, it's about sticking with my home group and being the change that needs to happen. However, at that point, with a year clean and not having a whole lot of knowledge, I wasn't able to change the entire group. And so what's best for the group is best for me, and at that point was what they thought was best for their group was not what was best for me. And so I moved, and I've been really, really blessed that the group I moved to, we have so many predecessors. My sponsor is a part of my home group, and she has like 27 years, and her mate has like 28 years, and I could be discounting it and not even giving them enough time because my brain's crazy. But so I was taught early on about service work, and for me, service work helped me so much. It gave me that feeling of being a part of. It gave me that I never knew like what I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't mean now, but I mean like before I was a part of NA, like I always kind of felt like I didn't belong and I didn't have a role and I didn't have a part of. So NA gave me, and my home group gave me like something to do. Like they made me feel like they trusted me and held me accountable for something. And so, I started serving on my home group level, and I started out as a GSRA at this new home group I was at, which is now my home group. And I would go to area and I would listen and try to take everything in, and I just wanted to know everything. And for me, I actually have some of my home group members in the room, and as I talk, I think, they're probably like, Jessica, you should probably bring your ass to meetings more right now. Because I do believe that that's what's going to improve my home group. And that my home group's going to survive without me, but I can't survive without them. There's a lot of times where, things happen in the group because we all do have big personalities and we all do feel like we're right. And, what I'm grateful for is that at Group Conscience, we're able to kind of hash out those things. But after we leave Group Conscience, it's not a personal thing. That it is a group conscience issue. And when we leave, I am still your friend. You are still my friend. We still love each other. We may have differences, but, we're able to leave it there and kind of look at the big picture of more of like what's going to benefit the group the most. Like, and what can I do to benefit the group? Everything is going to start with me and end with me. Like, I can't come in and talk about what you're doing if I'm not willing to take a look at myself and see, okay, well, I'm not making enough meetings. I'm not there to help share my recovery with people. If there's a lot of newcomers there who are kind of causing disruptions in the meetings, then maybe, we need to take a look at it. Are our members showing up? And that's kind of what we do at our Group Conscience is we sit down and, discuss whatever issues may be going on. How else can I improve my home group? We like to do the NA approved literature. I think it's called Improving My Home Group even, maybe. And we'll kind of do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or I can't remember if that's the area one or if that's the home group one, if it's 1 to 10 or whatever. I guess it really matters. But and just kind of get a feel of how everybody feels things are going. We have a lot of people, like there's multiple meetings in our city now, which are awesome. I feel like in the beginning I was like, because it started out we were the only home group in the town. And then new meetings kind of started. In the beginning, I'm like, well, why would they just not be a part of us? Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't be a part of our meeting. But now I see it as a good thing. There are different times, and so we all kind of work together to make sure that we're not doing any overlapping. That there are, it gives there more availability for people who can't. My home group meets 8 o'clock it used to be every night, but now it's different nights. But and the other meetings meet at 5:30, and so it gives more options for an addict who needs somewhere to go. It's not about the personality thing. It's not about well, we didn't like you, so we didn't come there. And that's what I'm grateful for, that I've been able to grow as a person and kind of get past that and see that you don't have to be a part of what I'm a part of. It does, you know what I mean? Because in the end, it's a big picture here. We're all a part of the same thing. We're all about helping that, still suffering addict. And, for me, I know that the best way for me to improve my home group is to show up. I go through periods, it's crazy how once you get things, and I say get things back, but for me, this is my story. It's not I got things back. It's just I got things. I didn't have things when I got here, and didn't have things even before I used because I came in young. But it's easy for me to get caught up in my day-to-day life and my crazy work schedule and traveling and things like that I forget what got me there. And it was my home group, and it was, it was NA. It was the 12 steps. It was practicing my program, and that starts at my home group. That starts with me practicing some principles in my life, and if I don't do those things, I'm going to lose the others anyway. So the best way for me to improve my home group is to show up and take a part. If I see something's not getting done, then I need to do it. I have a decent amount of clean time now, and I just because I have this amount of clean time, if I see the coffee's not getting cleaned up, well, guess what? You can walk your ass over there and clean up the coffee, Jessica. Or we have multiple meetings and throughout the week, and so if there are nights where meetings aren't getting chaired, then I need to pick up a chair night. We have a pretty big group, and so most of our service positions stay filled. But if there's one that's not being filled and I'm not serving, I need to serve. I got here because there were people here before me that did these things. And so now that I'm here and now that I'm clean, I have to do these things because it's about giving back. I think I had like a couple years clean, and I told somebody who had came in that if I'm not doing service, then I'm stealing from NA. And I forgot I had told her this. So she gets up and shares one night about somebody telling her that if she wasn't doing service, she was stealing from NA. And obviously, I'd heard that from someone else too. I didn't make that up. I won't take the credit. But, and so then afterwards, she's like, you told me that. And I was like, and it kind of hit a nerve because I had gone through, I was at a point where I wasn't serving, where I was just I would come to a meeting a couple of times a week and maybe not even that much. And so it was like, okay, time to bring your butt back, because I know me. I know that I'll step away, and I don't even mean to step away. I mean to, I don't mean to, I do the whole, well, I'll go tomorrow thing. Well, I'm tired tonight. I worked till 6. I want to go home and change clothes, and I'm tired. And so I won't go. And then I'll be like, I'll go tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes, and it's the same story. And so, having people from my home group tell me, we miss you, Jessica. Where are you at? Are you going to come back? Helps me because, I can't complain about what's going on if I'm not showing up. It's kind of like what they say. I know we aren't supposed to talk about politics or whatever, but you shouldn't have an opinion if you don't vote. Well, that's kind of the thing. Like, if I'm not showing up to do my part, how am I going to bitch about what's going wrong in the group? So I think I'm kind of rambling now, maybe. So I'm going to kind of turn it over, but I appreciate you guys giving me an opportunity to serve. Thanks for letting me share.
All right. Just a reminder, the speakers, just like Jessica, there's only so much you can say about a subject. If John does take up the rest of the time, that's good too. We'll take that too. But there'll be time for discussion after. And this is John P. from Gainesville or Dawsonville area?
I live in Gainesville, but my area is Northeast Georgia area.
Northeast Georgia area. Anyway, this is John P. He's going to be our next speaker.
Thanks, Toby. My name's John, and I'm an addict.
Hi, John.
Hey, John.
And thanks, Jessica, for sharing. And got a lot out of what you shared. And I want to welcome everyone to Gretna 34. And I'm glad you're here. And what a better way to improve your group by being a part of. And, events like the convention here give me the opportunity to expand my network and to learn a lot of different new things about about this fellowship and program, and get different perspectives, and that's all stuff that I can bring back to my home group. So one of the best ways is to improve my personal recovery, in my opinion. And when I got here too, I was introduced to Narcotics Anonymous through HNI, and I have a special place in my heart for HNI and the people that serve in that capacity. And but it also led me to the meetings, and you know what, that's what is vital to my recovery today. And one of the things I think about in improving my group, I think about the unity of this program and this fellowship and how vital that is. And you know, that really came, my home group and coming to meetings really played a big part in me learning that and learning about the rest of the traditions also. And you know, the thing with I know for me, when I got to Narcotics Anonymous, I wasn't the type of guy that was going to walk into a room full of strangers and raise my hand and tell you I'm hurting. I was terrified, you know, and I had so much shame and guilt and fear running through me. You know, my head was telling me, man, if you knew what I did to get the next one, you would tell me there's the exit. And you know, and I'm so grateful today that I didn't listen to my head early on. And if you're new to Narcotics Anonymous, or even if you're an old timer, you know, just keep coming back, you know, and that's what I heard. And so it's vital, I know for me early on, that when I came to meetings, I'm fortunate enough that the God of my understanding put me in situations where people reached out and grabbed me. And they told me that, hey, you come with us and you hang out with us after the meeting, and explain to me what the deal was and how it was very important for me to have people in my life, and especially recovering addicts who were trying to do the same thing what I was trying to do, is live one day clean. And that I was going to find those people in meetings. And I hated the meetings early on. And when y'all told me that I needed to attend these meetings for the rest of my life and to stay clean, I'm like, I wasn't ready to sign up for that. But you also took the time to explain to me that if I take 1 hour or 2 hours out of my day and devote it towards my recovery, or if I chase my recovery like I chase my dope, that I'll be okay. And the odds are I will stay clean. And you know, and I'm grateful today that the winners really grabbed me and I chose to stick around the people that were trying to do this deal and stay clean. And like I said, you know, the meetings were once I started clearing up and started coming around, the meetings were vital to me to learn about this program. And the fellowship really is what kept me clean early on. I found some hope in the rooms that maybe I too can do this deal and learn a new way of life. And you know, and that's one of the things that, as a member of Narcotics Anonymous today, that I do try to, I feel is my responsibility, that I try to do through my home group is make that new person feel welcome and make them want to come back. You know, and I think for me, you know, that's one of the things that my home group is Hell Has an Exit, and we meet in Oakwood, Georgia on Monday evenings at 8. And besides having a business meeting, we also have a separate group conscience where we try to focus on, are we carrying the message to the newcomer? And one of the big aspects of that is, are we making the new people feel welcome? You know, and I really want to challenge everyone in this room, and I've done this myself, is go to a meeting where you don't know anybody, you know, and after the meeting, stand, you know, near the door or where there's traffic and see how many people come up to you and hug you and introduce themselves. And man, I've been to meetings where I'm standing there all by myself, you know. I've been to meetings where there's cliquish groups form off, and but you know, one of the things that was stressed heavily to me, that if I want to learn this way of life, that I've got to do things different than the way I was doing it when I was out there in my active addiction. And I don't know about you guys, but I was the last person I used with, and I was all alone in the bottom of my addiction. And you know, and it was hard to let my guard down and to trust people and to let people in. And so I think, you know, that is vital for us. And I know for me in my home group, we really try to focus on making the new people welcome. And that was the thing that really kept me coming back early on, was that unconditional love I received. And you know, I wasn't getting judged by you know, they didn't tell me not to come back. They told me to come back and keep coming back. And so I challenge everybody to do that. You know, and that's one of the things I think about in my home group. When there's a new person shows up, you know, I always try to introduce myself and make them feel welcome and know that they're definitely welcomed. And but, you know, the thing in my area, up in Northeast Georgia area, there's been a big problem with people wanting to serve on like the area level and the group. And I, you know, through my experience, it was stressed to me early on that in the group is where the service really begins. You know, and I know for me is that I remember early on, you know, my sponsor telling me, hey, set up the chairs. You know, get here early and stay late. And the basic things you hear, you know, but those are the things that really got me, put me in a position to begin to have some relationships and get to know people that were coming to the meetings, and let them to get to know me also. And like I said, you know, I was definitely not the one that would come into a meeting and raise my hand and share. So that really kind of got me into the middle of the bed of Narcotics Anonymous. And it, you know, most importantly, it made me feel a part of. You know, and I've got a disease that wants to keep me apart from. And you know, and if I listen to my head, that's what, you know, my head tells me that shit. It tells me I'm not good enough, that I don't have anything to offer, and that's simply not true. You know, so by just doing those simple acts, you know, it was a big part. That was service. There's a lot of different levels of service that I found, but it really starts with having a home group and begin developing that type of relationship with people. And you know, and that's one of the things that I try to do today also, and it is my responsibility as part of carrying the message to make sure that that stuff happens in my home group. The coffee's made, the meeting's set up, there's people there. And you know, I know for myself is that our literature says, you know, that the best defense against that first one is another recovering addict. And the best vehicle for carrying the message is the group. And it was stressed also to me very heavily that do not turn your back on the power of the group. And also that if I had something going on with me, a situation or problem, would be to take it to the group and always do what the group told me to do. And and in my experience is that I've really found the grace of God in the groups of Narcotics Anonymous. And that's where I heard the truth about John. And that's where I heard what direction I need to take and the actions I need to take. And, and thank God for that today. And today it's a different story for me. I enjoy coming to meetings. All my friends are there for the most part. And I look forward to be able to give away what I've been so freely given. And, one of the things, being around a while, I hear, and I've also, said this myself about different meetings, was that, I don't want to go to that meeting. I don't get nothing out of it. And I remember my sponsor really pounding me about it. Says, look, it's not about what you're going to get. It's what can you give. And that's the attitude and perspective I have to have with my home group. What am I doing to give away what I've been given? And sometimes, man, the hardest thing is just showing up. But my home group, I make a commitment to be there each meeting, because that's one meeting that if you want to find out where I'm at, or if people can come to, and I'll be there. And and I'm grateful for that today, that I have that attitude and to be part of this. And and I think it's vital. If you don't have a home group, please get one. And I remember my sponsor telling me early on, your home group should be the best group in the world. And I really feel that way about my home group today. And I've struggled with that in my recovery with different groups and personalities. But it really teaches me how to deal with people and why this thing works. And I'm grateful to be here today, and I'm going to shut up and open it up for discussion. If you have anything to add or share about your own experience, please do so.
Thanks, John P. All right. I'm Toby. I'm an addict still. I really think we just had some good stuff up here, and I just hope there's some folks willing. Now, we'll ask you, please come up. We're recording the workshops, so we're going to continue the recorder here. So if you'll come up and sit in the chair here, and John or Jessica will let you, or we'll just use this chair. Anyway, yeah, go ahead. Ray.
Yeah, my name is Ray. I'm an addict.
Hi, Ray.
Great day to be clean. So that's for attitude of gratitude. Meet makers make it. These are little snippets I need to get down into my subliminal. So when the other side starts selling bullshit, I don't have to buy it, I didn't always have that, I hate them little slogans. You know what? Them little slogans might save my ass one day, And that's why they hang them up at meetings, Why they got the thing up there about the steps and tradition? We read them all the time. I need to get that information down in my subliminal. Another thing, you don't want to be homeless? Get a home group. Yeah. And stuff like that, But, I didn't get this whole thing on my first white chip. I had to go back out and do some research because I wasn't done. No reflection on this fellowship or nothing. I just wasn't done. I was coming here to get my slip signs. I keep my job. That's the truth of the matter, Some people got nudged by the judge. I mean, hey, don't really matter. But whatever it was, if whatever happened got me here, I'm glad for that because I stay here now. And that's another thing, too. Getting here is one thing, staying here is another. Huh? So that's the deal. And getting a home group, and you start to saddle up with different guys and people, and start to feel them on a real level, and realize, man, we all just human beings. Yeah, that's what my sponsor used to say, just like that. Human beings. I'm just trying to be. Whew, man. So yeah, and then when you get attached to somebody, this is another sad side to this. You get a little close to people and they decide to go back and do some research, and you see them out there dragging along their bottom. But you know what? As long as you hold on to what you got, you'll be that light at the end of that dark tunnel they're walking down. And I've seen that a lot. So the bottom line is, I just got to stay here. And I said last night, I'm going to say it again. I'm living off the bones of others. That's some cold shit. But it's the truth. I don't want to have to go out today. I hope you don't either. But if you do, man, you did it for me, because I don't have to do it today. And this is the stuff I hear at meetings. This is the stuff I get from home group members who care, you know. Another thing, too, you know, if you're really watching somebody, you can see them starting to flip the script. Relapse ain't the day you pick up. It's all that insanity that precedes it. And when people are close to you, they can watch you. They can see. They say, man, everything all right, man? I'm fine. Yeah, you know what that stands for, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the other gift of that, you know. And it exemplified the we thing, too. You know what I mean? You're all twisted. You don't know what it is. You can sit down and talk with your people and go, it'll be okay. You'll be able to get some encouragement, you know. And sometimes you get some guy smarter than you can tell you what your problem is. Really. Sometimes you can't find the word to describe what it is. You tell dude go, oh, that sounds like, I mean, I can go on and on and on. A lot of miracles happen in home groups. For the ones that ain't really convinced that they're really an addict, you can stay around it long enough and find out maybe you are. I mean, but you know what? One of the things of this disease is isolation and self-centeredness to the extreme. And at the end of my using, I stopped giving people shit. I was a giver. You know, I'm still a giver. I'm glad of that. I can give down here, you know. But I used to give my drugs away, you know. And you know what made me mad? They wasn't saying thank you. Not that they stopped. They never did, you know. They just took it for granted. Let's go, my man. He got something, you know. He always got something. And when I got clean, before I got clean, I stopped doing that. I had one dude come around me. He was my runner because I didn't feel like going out the house. I give him some money to go get it. So my point is, I was an isolator and totally self-centered. So now I come in here and you start talking that we shit. I said, we, what is it, a mouse in your pocket? You know. But I understand it's a good thing, you know, and here we go. I ain't gonna dance with everybody, and everybody ain't gonna dance with me. And I heard old guys say that, you know, and it's the truth. And then I heard something the other day, there's a wrench for every nut and you can adjust it. I used to say there's a nut for every screw. You know. But the fact of the matter is, I don't have to like everybody. Everybody don't have to like me. So I ain't got to go around people pleasing and try to get everybody to be my friend. Just be me. Some gonna love me and some ain't. But, you know, that's life too. This is just a tree in the forest, you know what I mean? And then I can come in here and learn these life skills without drugs and take it outside of there. Ain't that something? I'm in the playground learning how to play. So yeah, home group is real important for a whole lot of reasons, like I said. Helping me to identify with others, helping me to trust others, helping me to ask for help, help me to be myself and letting people see me as I am, not as I want them to see me. The three me's. I see me, you see me, and as I really am. So in search of self, you know, this is a good place to do it. And to be honest with self and be honest with others. And so again, it's a great day to be clean. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, come on up. Hey, if you just got here, this okay, we'll get you next. If you just got here, this workshop is on improving my home group. The speakers have already spoken, but now is the time for folks to come up. But if you want to share about it, I want you to come up here and sit in this chair so we are recording it. Go ahead. How you doing?
Good morning, everybody. I'm John. I'm Addicts.
Hi, John.
I guess that's kind of how I showed up here at this convention again this time around. I was here about 7-8 years ago when they had the last one, Gretna. And, you know, I need to continue to improve in order to be able to help a home group improve. Because what I found out through the literature, it says that groups don't recover. Addicts recover. So the stronger home group members you have, the better your home group is going to be. That's just how it is. If you've got inexperienced home group members, your group probably is not going to really excel. Or like the speaker was talking about, how we need to take an inventory of our groups to make sure we're serving the community like we should. If you got a lot of newcomers coming to that meeting, you need to kind of cater to a newcomer format somewhat. You know, and that's I found important. And thank God for sponsorship. Because I didn't have a clue about any of this stuff either until I got here and allowed for somebody to teach me. Because that's what makes Narcotics Anonymous work is therapeutic value of one addict helping another one. And if we break the chain, then it's going to get weak. So in 60 days, I'll be celebrating my 18th year clean. You know, I've been a part of my home group for over 20 years. And, you know, in a home group, I look at it like my own personal home. It's somewhere I should be comfortable at. You know, because a house is not a home. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go nowhere that I'm not feeling that I'm wanted. In other words, now, if I'm not comfortable with that, that's probably not where I need to make my home group. You know, thank God that most cities and towns now have quite a few meetings, so you don't have to be stuck at one location. You can go other places and kind of find where you're comfortable at. Where how I was taught is that a home group is somewhere that I need to be comfortable, and also that I need to be able to do service. And you know, saying that rotation of service is vital for the structure of Narcotics Anonymous. You know, so me with 18 years, I don't need to go to my home group fighting with a newcomer about chairing me, because that also can stifle a group. You know, if I've been around as long as I have, I should be training or teaching my sponsees how to do service too, because we need fresh blood continue to go to keep the means flowing the way that they should. It talks about in our traditions how we'll get these positions and stifle them. You know, we'll kill the lifeline by not. Well, me personally, what happened with me is that God showed me that by me continuing to grow, my spirit let me know when it was time for me to not go to the home group screaming about being the treasurer when I already been it 2 or 3 times. You know what I'm saying? And what about the newcomer? We talk about the newcomer being the most important person. See, I can remember how it was when I came to the home group, when there was old timers at the door that was hugging me, making me feel welcome. See, in order for me to have built my self-esteem and self-worth, if they hadn't made me feel a part of, I would have stayed on the outside. You know, it's important that we let the newcomers get their feet grounded in this process if they're going to stay. You know, if not, see, I was looking for any excuse to go back out the door anyway. All you had to do was look at me wrong, I was gone. You know what I'm saying? So it's important. And you know, the literature, I love our literature. It says that the reason newcomer is the most important person because I can only keep what I have by giving it away. If there's nobody here to give it to, I think I'm fixed. Keep moving. You know, and I've seen what happened to addicts that, like the first edition talks about, those who don't keep an active part of this fellowship face a rough road. I've been here long enough to see what happened to people that don't keep coming. It's not always a pretty picture after they make it back. You know, so I keep coming. About 20 minutes ago, prior to me coming in here, one of my home group members texted me, and she just celebrated 23 years last week. But anyway, she was saying that we hadn't been out, because normally what we do after anniversary, we'll go out, pick a dinners in different places, sit down and eat. And she said we hadn't done that in a while, and, you know, kind of inviting us to kind of get together and do that. And, you know, but I guess it's like your own personal family. If we get away from the principles of the program, we'll let the personalities take over. And that's usually why we could have issues, because we get away from the principles of the program. You know, and, you know, so I've been around that home group a long time. I've been able to, you know, deal with the ups and downs. You know, sometimes I kind of get frustrated because once you get the information, you're charged. You know, if you sit there and let a lot of stuff go on in your home group and you got the information, you just as bad as them. You just worse off. You might well be in with them. You know what I'm saying? Like home groups that want to take Southern tradition money and put on functions when it's really not for that. If I got the information to show you in the book where it says that fundraisers for certain things, and I go along with it, taking Southern Tradition money and buying T-shirts and all kind of stuff. You know, I might as well start doing the fundraiser too. You know, so sometimes I kind of get, question myself and ask myself, well, why did God allow for me to do all the work with the steps, tradition, and concepts and all this stuff? And then you still got to go to group conscience and wrestle with the inexperienced members with doing what they want to do. And but anyway, I have to keep coming. You know what I'm saying? Because there was old timers there when I got there. You know, that was willing to hold my hand and walk me through the process. So I'm forever in debt, like most of us. You know, once you've been pulled out of the gutter, you're charged to be here to show somebody else the light. And but I don't want to guide nobody the wrong way. You know, saying that, we got some people try to sponsor people and they ain't never been sponsored. You know, that's the blind leading the blind. And that's a bad way to go right here. You know, we have to be real careful with that. But anyway, I'm going to keep coming. Thanks for letting me share that.
Thanks. All right. I tell you, I think it's awesome, man. I've got coming up on 18 years here in May, and I've had 3 home groups. 20 years in one home group, that's just awesome. Okay, I got this gentleman in the back first. I can't remember his name. Then Seamus, and then I saw a spattering of hands. We got about a little over 30 minutes. We got 39 minutes, so we hopefully can get everybody in. All right.
I'm going to call Jason. I'm going to be real quick.
All right, Jason.
I with the topic being improving, I assume that there's something wrong. You know, like most groups don't need improving unless there's something wrong. And when there's something wrong in our group, we go to the group booklet because it's our literature. And it's laid down real simply. It's got a real simple inventory in there. It's got 6 points. I can look at those 6 points and, hey, are we doing these things? And if we are, then it's probably not a problem. It's probably a personality or something that's unspiritual that's causing conflict. So we use that group booklet like all our new members get a group pamphlet and a group booklet. And they get to read that. And they get encouraged to come to our group business meeting. And, you know, you don't have to share in every meeting. That was a big one. You know, we encourage, them to come and participate with their presence. You know, you said a lot about being at your meeting. Your home group is important. You know, that builds strong home groups. That improves groups, that you see the same people in meetings. I have found that it improved my group tremendously when I visited other groups and asked for support. You know, could you support our group? We need some clean time, or we need some women. In my area, we need women. We got tons of young women that need sponsors and no available sponsors for them. Hey, how do you improve that? You go ask for help. You know, go to area and ask for help. I've been a part of a ad hoc committee that came to a group, and that was a disaster. You know, for lack of a better way of putting it, most group problems I've been involved in had to be settled from inside. And the simpler we kept it, the easier it was. So I hope that helps. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Seamus, next. Who's the other, who was, I know I got one here and somebody over, maybe, anyway. We got plenty of time. Okay, I see it back there.
I'm an act named Seamus.
Hi, Seamus.
I'd like to thank both of the speakers that shared. I got a lot out of, what both of y'all shared about, plus some other people sharing in here. I'm a member of the group that meets on Monday nights from 7:30 to 8:45 in the East End area, which is kind of like northeast metro of Atlanta, in Lawrenceville, Georgia. We're called the NA Vaders Group, and I love my home group. And I've been clean for quite a while, and I was thinking in the meet, I was like, I guess I've had 5 home groups probably, and I've probably served. I was thinking I've probably been a GSR of every single one of them at least once, and when I got clean in the up and coming years, my sponsor shared things with me that you don't miss your home group unless it's for a funeral, and it better be yours. And y'all laugh at that, but I followed that I still follow that, but I followed that rigidly, to the point where I've had other members go, you don't ever miss your home group, do you? And I try to do that. I mean, I have to miss it at times where I'm out of town and different things like that. But I'm all about trying to get there early and stay late. And I'm very proud of my home group. I'm very proud of it. And we have we meet once a week, and I'd say on the average our meeting is 50 people, and I'd say 35 of them have less than a year clean. And so what we did, I don't know, about a couple years ago, we had a format, and it just got old. The format got old, and it got stagnant, and so we got together as a group conscience, and the group conscience that we have is it's like we got long-term clean time in there. We got newcomers, and then we got people early recovery, like 5 years or less, and so I really believe that a loving, caring God comes into that conscience and guides and directs us. And I don't know, about 2 years ago, we wanted to change that format, and God came into that creativity of those members. And so we geared a format a couple of weeks out of the month. We geared it towards the newcomer. And what's absolutely been amazing is that due to that, when we have those newcomer meetings, and we've done something really different. So one of the weeks that we have is totally dedicated to the newcomer. So the chairperson gets a discussion leader that talks about a topic about early recovery. And then they say, okay, this meeting is dedicated to newcomers. So from 1 day clean to 30 days clean, you can speak up right now and share. And then we do 30 to 60, 60 to 90, and we take it all the way to a year. And what we've seen that do is that all those newcomers that come, they start sharing, and they start feeling a part of, and they start feeling really loved. And what's really neat is they come back. And then the other thing that we do is every other week of that week, we do it odds and even weeks. The other one is that we focus on, I can't remember, we focus on the newcomer, and it's just been, let me give you an example. So I've been clean 27 years, and so week before last, I was in my home group, and a guy with 90 days clean. 90 days, he looks at me and he goes, did you feel the God in this meeting tonight? And I was like, man, I'm right there with you. I really did. I really felt it, I said, sometimes, God's always there, but sometimes he breaks down the door with that spirit that's alive in that meeting. So every time that we have that newcomer meeting, members with a substantial clean time, I get so much out of that meeting, absolutely so much. And this past Monday, we had, 65 people in there. There probably wasn't a seat in there, not taken up. And I think, I don't know this for a fact, but I think the newcomers and the word is getting out. We've had that format for a couple of years now, but I think word is really getting out that they're like, we need to come to the Vaders group. They do this format that's different than anybody, that makes us really feel a part of. And so they come, and, I hear people say, I got the best home group in the world. And, I always joke with that. I'm like, you got to believe in something, but I got the best home group to me. I really do. I got the best home group to me. And, in any long-term relationship, you're going to have bickers and fights and ups and downs. And there's been times that I wanted to leave my home group. I've been a member of, for that group for a number of years. And there was times where I was going to leave it, and I always, in sponsorship, I have guys that come to me and they bring me up problems with personalities in the group. And so there's a process that we go through. I don't ever share with that guy, yeah, you're right, leave, walk away. Give it 90 days, and how can I, like the speakers talked about, how can I be a part of the solution to make that group more attractive, to the newcomer, to the addict who's still suffering. And, one of the things that I guess is a benefit of long-time home group membership is that I can walk in that door. My home group members can look at my face, and they can tell by looking at my face if I'm in a good place or I'm in a struggling place or I'm in a self-will place, and that's, for me, those are the roots that keep me here in Narcotics Anonymous. Is that, am I willing to, that's the one group that I go to that I have surrendered, that I am going to share my heart, and I'm going to let down these walls in my life, and I'm going to allow these people to get to know me and love me, In the last couple of years, there's been many times in my recovery that I was a suffering addict. My father died. I went through bankruptcy, walked away from a house, lost all my financial wealth, everything. And there were many times I was up there with 25 years clean. And if you don't believe me, you can ask some members that are sitting in this meeting. I was crying like a baby, and that's really neat today, because when we have people that come in and they talk about that death of parents and so forth, home group members all look at me, and say, you got that experience now to give away. So I think we can continue to improve. I've heard some things here today that I would like to probably take back to the group and implement, or bring up as a topic. The other thing that we do that I'm really proud of, I haven't been able to do this a lot with them because of my work schedule. I did this some in my early recovery, is that we pick a meeting each month in the area that is struggling and supporting. And as a home group, we go and support it. So as a home group, we meet, we'll pick a Wednesday night. We're going to go to this meeting. We're going to meet at the Kroger parking lot, at this time at 7 o'clock. And we all pile into like one vehicle, we try to, and we go and support that meeting. And what that does is it bonds us. It bonds that group together, because what goes on in the rides to and from meetings, And it bonds us to the point where we can better carry the message to the addict who still suffers. So if you're wondering how you can get close to your home group, that's one way. That's just, it's like chill bump, close, So thanks.
Thanks, Seamus.
My name's Thomas Narcotics.
Thomas.
And one of the reasons that I came to this workshop was because I would like to try to find a way to better my home group. I'm part of a young home group in my area, and I'm like the second one with the most clean time, and that's only coming up on 4 years. And another one, experienced member who has a lot more clean time than me, very rarely shows up. So a lot of newcomers that come to a meeting kind of come to me and look for me for answers. That's where sponsorship plays a big part in my life. As Jessica, I know Jessica, and I visit various groups, and that's how I get the information to take back to my home group. I found out for me, like I know as a newcomer when I first came around, it was hard to go to a meeting. And you go there and you feel uncomfortable, you feel unsure, and you go to a meeting because you don't know what to say, you don't know how to feel. And if it's a big home group, you feel intimidated. I know for me, I was intimidated because I started my recovery in Florida, and like the meetings were like 60, 70 people deep. And like you kind of got lost in those kind of home groups. The newcomer, they say the newcomer is the most important person, but you do have your cliques, and then you do have people that got lives and they got their own problems, so they kind of gather off in little groups. And as a newcomer, I felt kind of lost. But what my sponsor had told me was, you got to make yourself available to them too. It's not always up to you. Your recovery is your responsibility, so it's not always up to them to come up to you. Sometimes you got to go up to them. And, and I was thinking about, when I was using, I didn't care who you was, what you was, where you was. When I wanted to get high, I did whatever measures it took for me to get my dope. So I have to take that same kind of responsibility in my recovery. A lot of people see me in a lot of different meetings, and they think I'm part of Jessica's group. They think I'm part of other people's group because I go to visit various meetings, because it's the fact of the matter is this is a worldwide fellowship. You know, I like what the gentleman said about. I don't know about that. My home group is the best home group. You know, I believe Narcotics Anonymous is the best, but I mean at this particular time, my home group is the best for me right now. You know, because it says in our literature that no group should be in competition. There was a point in time in my recovery where I wanted to leave my home group because I was getting overwhelmed. It was just like I just felt like I had the burden of everything. And then my sponsor brought me to the 7th edition, and it talked about responsibility. You know, I can't hold a group up, but I need to be committed to my home group. You know, I need to be committed to my home group. And I found out, like in our area, because there is a more experienced group in my area where there is more clean time. So a lot of people will start coming to our meetings, but then they'll go to that meeting because there's more clean time and more experience. But I found out for myself, in order for a group to grow, you need members to stay. You need members to stay. So I can't get some clean time and say, well, this ain't working for me, let's move on to another group. Because then the group is going to continue to stay newcomers. That's all it's going to be. I can't be responsible for my whole group, but I do need to be responsible for me. And for me, it's about giving back what was so freely given to me. And like I like where I come from. We were gathering newcomers. You never went to me without a newcomer in your car. You know, and I see that in our area too. Like you very rarely see somebody driving around with some newcomers in somebody's car. And as far as like a newcomer coming up, it's like, for me, I remember we go around to meetings and people are handing you this piece of paper and everybody's signing. I never used that paper. I took that paper home, I set it on my shelf, and that was the last time I saw that paper. So as a home group member, what I try to do today is I try to go up and get the newcomers' number. And like some during the course of the day, I'll text them, yo, how you doing? You know, I haven't seen you, you all right? Because you know what? I know the fear that I had when I first walked through the door. So I can only imagine what another newcomer's feeling when he walks through the door. And I'm we big part of H&I in our area, and like that's like your first line of defense. It's like when you see that newcomer, like I get excited when I go speak in H&I. I don't get excited when I go speak in H&I. You know, I get excited when I see somebody that was in a crisis center or a treatment center, and you see them in a meeting, and they recognize you, and they say, yo, you remember me? And like sometimes you feel uncomfortable because you're like, okay, I think I do. You know, because you see so many people, and I don't want you to feel like I didn't think you were important. So I go, okay, I see. Yeah, you're using crisis. That's when I feel that this is working for me. But as part of being a home group, I think being a part of a home group is really just about just being committed, not giving up, and keeping the doors open. You know, sometimes you just got to keep the doors open, and that's like a big part for me, because if the door is closed, then the addict who may potentially come later has nowhere to go. I don't know. For me, I'm still learning. I'm still growing, and I've learned a lot. Like I've learned a lot over this past just coming to these workshops, because my way of thinking, and I pray to God that my way keeps thinking like this, from what I thought about when I first walked in 4 years ago to now. Because if my thinking continues to stay 4 years ago, then somewhere I'm not growing. You know. And as far as group conscious, we have a lot of members from treatment facilities where they're waiting. They got to get a van, so it's hard for them to stay for a group conscious meeting. So my sponsor told me I did this wrong too, but we tried to make it readily available to get the members to the group conscious. So we brought the group conscious to them, to where their facility was, because we were on a time restraint. But he says that's not a good idea either. But I mean, you just try to find out solutions to make it work. And that's all it comes down to. Find out what the solution is, not the problem. Because I can continue to complain about what's not going right instead of looking at what is going right. But I don't know, it's coming to places like this. And we were talking about, there's a facility I know in my area, and they were talking about like, they was expecting more people from this facility to come, because this is like the Super Bowl of recovery. You know what I'm saying? Like this is where you come and everybody's together and you can really feel a part of. but people don't really get that feeling yet. So it's up for people with a little more time to say, well, listen, why don't you try to make it to this if you can, But financial restraints, because this isn't a meeting, it's got to be supported. But I don't know. I'm just grateful to be here, man. I love coming to conventions because every time I come to a convention, it allows me to give me a new feeling of my recovery when I do go back to my home. Because there's times in my recovery where I just don't feel like recovering. I don't want to be here. I'd rather be home watching TV, doing whatever I want to do. But when I come here and I see all the people, and my shit is a clean time countdown, and seeing all the people, and just seeing the Addict with One Day Clean get up there, and I remember me and my wife cried one year because a newcomer One Day came up, because I remember how hard it was to just get that one day. That one day was just like, I never thought it would happen, and I got it. But I'm just grateful to be here, man, and I love it, and I just keep coming back, and it's about supporting the area, And it's about supporting the groups in your area, because without the groups, the addicts don't. But I'm just grateful to be here. Thanks for allowing me to share.
Thank you for sharing. Seamus, thought he had his hand up earlier. Oh, okay. Anybody, please? Yes, we need more female participation in this discussion.
My name's Donna, and I'm an addict.
Hey, Donna.
My home group is Just for Today group in South Atlanta area in Newnan, Georgia. And I have 17 months clean. I've been, I know I hear all this time and everything.
Get that resentment chip real soon.
Well, I've been at the home group for 12 months. And because I left my other home group after about 5, it wasn't nothing personal, it's just the place, the location. But I like my home group a lot. I kind of got thrown into activities right away when I got there because our activity guy was sick, and I started helping him on a project. Well, then I really like activities a lot. So I try to do things like once a month, or at least every 2 months, just a different activity. Like we have dinner and a movie. In March, we're going to sprout into spring with planting plants. And I have, my home group is at a clubhouse, so there's other meetings that go on at there. So sometimes we get picked on, and called the AA of NA, and I'm like, whatever, because to me, I think we're really strong, and there's certain things that, yes, I have a lot of clean time in my room. One of the guys has 29 years, and then another one has 27 years, and then there's some that's got 10, 5, but we have a lot of new people coming in. So we do have group conscious. Our group conscious works really well because I think we discuss the problems that's going on, and sometimes the problems are, letting somebody throw up on the meeting. So I really liked your idea of newcomers sharing in that manner, because I think it's important. Some of them don't want to do anything, and then some of them just have to get it out. Some people just don't want to say nothing, but some people are hurting so bad, they just got to get what they're feeling out. And to me, when I see them and when I see people relapse, and I see the people that's new, that's a reminder that I don't want to be there no more, and I don't want to go and relapse. And they tell me that that's not a requirement. So I keep watching the people that come in, and it's like I can tell when somebody's going to relapse, because I can see that they're not attending as many meetings. They're getting pissed off over little things all the time. Just little things happen. And so I try to be a fast learner about that, because I don't want to go through that pain and misery again, And it took me 46 years to get in. So I don't want to, I don't think I have another 46 years to spend out there, so I'm not going to do that. But I really enjoy my group, and I do think we can grow a little bit, My group's Monday through Saturday. So Sunday is the only night that we don't meet. Tuesday nights meet but the rest of the time. So I think going to different meetings to me is something that I think is you should do and experience. So that's what, I try to make a commitment to go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to my group. And I try to keep, pick that one time that I'm going to chair the meeting. And I do H&I also, and I really have gotten a lot out of H&I. I've been doing it for about 9 months now. And, after I had 6 months, so no, about whatever that is, but about 9 months, yeah. And I enjoy H&I. Sometimes it's trying, sometimes it's hard. I went to a couple of facilities, there's only like 4 and maybe only really 2 participants because 2 are out there and don't know anything you're going on. So I have to pray before I go in there that God takes me out of the way and I get something. And one time I was like, I don't think nobody had heard a word I said. I don't know if I helped anybody or did anything. And somebody reminded me, well, it did help an addict. It helped you. And so those sayings that y'all say keep coming back, it works if you work it, meeting makers make it, I really try to listen because when I was out there, I took whatever suggestion people gave me, So if you gave it to me, I took it. So when I come in, I think I was so beaten and broken that I was ready to do anything that anybody suggested. So I made the 90 meetings in 90 days. I got my first sponsee, I think, so we're working on it. I'm asking her to read some literature first, to call me. I'm not saying call me 30 days, every day for 30 days. I just want to get to know her first, and I want to see where she's at. And so I told her I was going to this convention to text me, and call. And if you need me, call me and leave a message. If I don't answer, I will call you. She's texted me. She texted me last night. We were in the meeting, and there was I just want to let you know I'm doing well. Made me feel real good, like I don't know how long this lasts, but this is a Just for Today program. So I am really glad I'm here. I love this convention. I was here at the GRCNA convention last year, and I can't wait till the countdown tonight. But I've learned a lot of stuff to take back to my home group from y'all, and I appreciate y'all letting me share. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I'm Toby. I'm an addict. Yes, go ahead. We got probably time for one more.
I'm Jimbo. I'm that.
Jimbo.
I'm from Northeast Georgia, Tacoma, Georgia. Change happened. For a while, it was for years, it was a one group town, a little small town, and then a group come, another group during the week come, and then just trying to lay out where we're at, and so people took that over and was running it. Lives were being changed and meeting was changing, and them guys have started to go in different areas. Other chairs, other service, and so this meeting is just right on time for us. So me and a couple of guys, we're just guys and girls, we're just in the past few years been stepping up and taking the reins and giving back what was gave to us. Here recently, there's a lot of nudge by the judge, people in there just getting their paper signed, and they don't want to share, they don't want to, it's a lot of work to ask for them to wash the coffee pot out at the end of the meeting. And I'd gotten to this point where I was like, I was give out, someone shared they'd just rather be home watching TV. I was at that point that I was doing pretty good with myself, and I was concerned, trying to help other people, which was in the big picture helping me. Don't get me wrong that I got something, that I got it figured out because I'm lost as hell. But I was doing pretty good, and I thought, hell, I can stay home and watch TV. I'm tired of I just gave out and gave out and gave out, you know. And so I started missing some meetings. I usually go to 4 or 5 a week in this town, and I chair and I sit up and I serve. And I'm grateful for that opportunity. But so I think I went to one meeting in like 2 weeks. My sponsor calls me and says, "Hey, I heard you hadn't been in any meetings." And right off the rip, I started justifying, why I wasn't at meetings and total different ways, made that shit sound real good, up here. And he simply said, "Hey, call me back when you figure out you're not such a self-centered son of a bitch," and hung up on me. And so I got a good one, So I sat there for about 10 minutes, and it was just, God just revealed so much to me in them 10 minutes. That here my sponsor is, he sat in a group in Jefferson, Georgia for nearly a year and went there one night a week and opened the doors and fixed coffee and sat there by himself for nearly a year. Years later, it's a average 30-person meeting. And in that 10 minutes, I remember this sign when I first got here in his office that said, "Even if you don't believe that I do." And I called him back and said, "Hey, dude, I'm going to a fucking meeting, it hit me. Who am I to not be committed and to see a problem and to not figure it out? They did it for me. These ain't the only problems that's happened. There were some people that were committed and did their part and figured it out. So, as I said here today, if anyone's going through the same thing and you're struggling with the service, just keep doing it, man. I'm grateful that I was trained in the way of calling, or that I picked a sponsor that is not afraid to call me out on my shit. And tell me what I'm really thinking when between here and here has been a mess for all these years. He can see stuff that I can't through our relationship. I'm grateful for this meeting. I'm grateful for this convention. Thanks for letting me share.
Thanks, Jimbo. All right, let me just double check the time here. Okay, one more short one. If anybody has something they'd like to add, we got 8 minutes. Okay. Oh, there we go. Good. Come on up.
I'm Dave, and I'm an addict.
Hi, Dave.
Change happens. Nagana. Man, you break my heart, Jimbo, man. Because I was one of those people, that when our home group started, I didn't start my home group. God started it. And what happened was Jimbo was in a rehab, and these guys came over to do their community service and asked to come to my church and use the facility to start an NA meeting. Well, coincidentally, my higher power had me getting clean at that time through some counseling and stuff. I had gotten in a little more trouble with the law. And at the same time, God decided to put a home group in my church, And these guys from the rehab came over and they started this little group in my church. Well, it lasted, 2, 3, 4 weeks. All them son of guns relapsed. And I was going to some, I would show up as at my church, so I showed up. So it turned out to be me, this guy with 22 years, this old man, old Joe, who's just the softest man you ever saw. You better listen to when he talks. And this other kid. And my sponsor said, "Well, what are you going to do? Going to close the meeting? Or are you going to do, what are you going to do?" So I said, "Well, I guess I'll keep it open." He goes, "Okay, areas next week, you're the GSR." And I was neck deep in service from the get-go. And I didn't even know. Yeah, next thing you know, I could tell you some other stories how I was introduced to chairing the subcommittee because they said, well, we could use a vice chair. No one would want to be chair, so they said we could use a vice chair. I said, well, I could maybe do vice. Oh, good. You know what happens when you don't have a chair and you're the vice chair? You're the chair.
It's a good smoke screen.
Yeah, but you know what? This stuff saved my life. Getting up every Thursday, man, I don't always feel like getting up and walking down there and doing all that, stuff. But you know what? I'm an addict, and if I spend a lot of times worrying about how I feel, I'll feel like getting high. I think I'll go do that. So a lot of times when my mind's running and I'm feeling crazy and whatever thing, I got to remember, it don't matter what I'm thinking or how I'm feeling. It matters what I'm doing. Because I've driven home with my mind going, go to the dope man, go to this, go to the thing. And I'm just like, fuck you, man, I'm driving home, Because it didn't matter how I thought or how I felt. When I got up in the morning, I got high. Whether I was sick, whether I was good, whether I felt like going to work, whether or not, it doesn't matter. I never took all those things into account when I went to go get my dope. But now all of a sudden I'm clean and I've got to feel like doing steps. Shit, I don't feel like doing steps. But that's why I have to do them, I don't feel like showing up every Thursday for the past however many years. And, but like he said, we had one meeting that was 20 years old in our town. There is an NA meeting every night of the week except for 2 now and one day 2. So we went from one meeting to 7 meetings in 3 years. And people are coming in the door. And you know what? I don't know how it happened. God stuck a meeting and people started showing up, So for me, improving the home group is sticking to those basic things. I want to get grandiose and throw my own convention and, and all that stuff. But you know what I got to do? I got to come in, I got to make coffee, and I got to make sure there's some literature in the rack because some of them guys might pick one up, And that's it. And then I move forward. All the rest of this stuff, when people have arguments and shit and all that stuff, I didn't figure it out, But the only time it becomes a problem is if it's going to interfere with that group being there for the person who needs it, Then we have to make some changes. But in the meantime, do the little things, because I'm not going to get to do the bigger things until I'm faithful in the small things. See, I want to rule the world, but I can't even get it straight between the ears, So anyway, thanks for letting me share.
Thanks. All right, I'm Toby. I'm an addict. Appreciate everybody that stuck around. I was thinking about the speaker last night and talking about how we all make bets on the newcomer, and of course the one that he's going to make it, and then boom.